Well, a lot has been made of Dominic Ingle's corner work on Saturday night and the advice given to Robbie Davies Jr., who ended up losing to the Mexican Gabriel Valenzuela on points. Dominic's criticised for asking Robbie Davies Jr. to go Southpaw. Even former Ingle gym fighter Johnny Nelson was questioning the tactics. Now, I want to have a look at this and see if it really is Dominic's fault or whether it's just a case of a fighter making the mistakes or a bit of both. Robbie's problem was that he was centre lined here. He comes in high with his chin high. This is what also led to the knockdown. This is all in round one. He's over anxious. He's trying to hit the jackpot without putting the work in, i.e. the jab, the feinting, the adjustments of the feet, the setups. He tries to come in. He gets caught with a check hook. This time he slips his head on the inside of the seam of the Valenzuela's guard. He misses with the up jab. And then it becomes scrappy from there. Orthodox again. Gets caught with a jab. And just about slips to the side with the right hand. Doesn't really, and this is orthodox. Centre line, he's sitting at the end of the punches. This is the problem. He's not moving his feet. There's just a little bit of head movement, but he's sitting down the end of Valenzuela's punches. Valenzuela touches the backhand, shoots the double jab and the right hand, and he just about misses again because Robbie slips off to the side, but this time he won't. He'll do the same pattern. He'll touch the backhand. He'll shoot the jab through the long, so it's short, long, and then the right hand comes in behind it. Robbie is sitting on the end of the punches no matter what stance he's in. He's sitting centre line. His position is the most important thing here. You can see he's square of the torso. His belly button's facing Valenzuela. His guard is open so he can get hit. Look, there's a seam for that jab to land. He just about misses with the right hand. There's only so many times you can slip punches. And again, just moments later, he gets hit with that shot. Here, he's in the southpaw stance. He jabs. He pulls back. And he jabs. Something that the Ingle gym work on. If you notice, he's adjusting himself to the outside of Valenzuela's left leg. He's adjusting himself anti-clockwise. That's what Ingle wanted. To force Valenzuela to punch across himself like that. To fall out of position and lose his base. The problem is, Robbie again in the southpaw stance is sitting down the centre line. He doesn't take his head offline. He doesn't set anything up. He jabs. He gets caught. He's not defensively responsible. And then from here, a habit that he's had in his career, he does switch it. He's done it before. And here he tries to shift step. He tries to go into the orthodox stance. He falls in. And then from there it becomes scrappy. But his head's high. And because he punched wide, Valenzuela punches on the inside of the shoulder with the right hook and drops him. This was about position, and this was about a lack of defensive responsibility from Robbie Davies Jr. Here you see him slip again. Now, this is against Joe Hughes. He's orthodox, and this is how he predominantly starts his fights. And listen, I'm a Robbie Davies Jr. fan. I know how he fights. So when I'm hearing lazy punditry about, oh, he should have fought this way and that way, I'll touch on that in a moment. But here you'll see his position. So you see here he moves across to the ropes. You can see on the timestamp on the picture, and then within seconds he's into the center of the ring, operating from a southpaw stance because that is how Robbie operates. He can switch hit. He's done it before. Just in case you don't believe me, a round later, Robbie's operating from the southpaw stance again. So he voluntarily has chosen to do this in the past. Remember, this was when he was with, I believe, Tonk's gym in Liverpool. So this isn't something that he's just started doing with Dominic Ingle. So let's be fair here. I went on a bit of a tweeting spree last night enjoying the action. But this is how I felt. I felt that Robbie was sitting on the end of the punches. I felt that no matter what position, what stance he's in, it's his feet, it's where his head is, it's where his hands are. He needs to, he's relying on his reflexes against the guy with a good jab, a good double jab right hand, sharper hands, longer reach. You're asking for trouble. However, I do understand that Robbie probably felt more comfortable being orthodox. That is his natural stance. But I understood why Dominic wanted him to stay southpaw, and you'll see why in just a moment. I understood what Dominic was doing, but I understand Robbie as well. Sometimes it's difficult in the heat of the moment. But look at this, 20 minutes after my original tweet about the positioning, just to say that I'm not copying Ben Davison here, look at what Ben put. Doesn't matter what stance, it was a sitting at the end of range, which was the problem against a guy with sharp hands, good straight puncher. And then Joe Gallagher says here, look, Robbie switching orthodox would have been wrong. His low left would have been a disaster, as the Mexican's right hand would have had a shorter distance to travel. Again, spot on from Joe Gallagher there. So just to show, look, again, just a still screen image. His head position, it's more over the front leg than the back leg. It's closer. This is orthodox to the right hand, and there's a seam for that punch to go straight through. Again, Robbie's head position, he has that little lean forward, almost to try and draw Valenzuela to punch. And again, it's closer to the right hand, so there's less distance to travel. Again, he's in a sort of neutral balance position, but his head is still up. There's a seam through the guard, and there's much of a target. Now, from Southpaw, is there much difference? Not really. When Robbie's holding his feet in that position, he's down the centre line, and he's got a wide hand position. So again, he's in a vulnerable position. But here you can see he's on the outside of Valenzuela's lead leg, and he's away. So there's created more distance for the right hand to be thrown. So from there, he's in a better position. Hands are not great, but he's in a better position. That was what Dominic Ingle was trying to get. Media in general can paint a narrative of society and certain events, and it's the same with boxing. And I feel like the punditry last night was unfair on Dominic Ingle. I you know I see Robbie Davies. I've seen Robbie Davies Jr.'s career. I know what he's about. I know how he fights. He's a fantastic fighter to watch. He's all action. He's blood and guts. Go back and watch his fights. He can be hurt, but he can hurt you. He can box a little bit, but he's also vulnerable. And he's more and more over the last few years getting drawn into scraps. That's just the way he fights. That's not Dominic Ingle's fault. Dominic's working with a fighter that's already fell into bad habits already. And those bad habits were exposed last night by a very solid and capable fighter in Gabriel Valenzuela. And I think people are forgetting that. And for me, I wasn't shocked by Valenzuela's performance. He looked capable on his record. And in terms of, during the week, he looked professional all the way through. Eddie Renaso, Canelo, he's in and around those guys. And to me, what needs to be looked at is Canelo's link with Hearn seems to be now producing better Mexicans coming over and beating our guys up. That's what I would be questioning. But for me, Robbie Davies Jr.'s performance, it was gutsy, it was tough, but ultimately he fell short just against a better fighter. And there's no shame in that. Robbie has had a great career, British, Commonwealth, European, and some intercontinental titles. His dad will be proud of him. And, Robbie, I know he's proud of himself. And for Dominic, he's always content with his work. He'll go back to working with his fighters. It clicks for some, it doesn't for others. That's the way boxing is. But at the end of the day, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.